just, you know, she understands that it's not her job or even her place to explain that to other kids, because if their parents want them to believe in it, then their parents want them to believe in it. But anyway, I felt some type of way, and I had told my friends that I felt some type of way about the fact that the only time I see them is when I come out there.
And y'all got more room than them, don't it?
Yes, we have more room, but it's not even that. But then, okay, so we haven't had a car in the last 2 years since the accident. But if I'm in a car, like, say I'm about to go get Dorian, or I'm about to go visit my mother, or whatever the fuck, I'll be like, hey, y'all, I'm on my way to DC. Y'all want to link up? What's the plan? Blah, blah, blah. As opposed to, on the other end, I get that there's only one friend that has a license out of the 3. But they can say, okay, let's pool our money together and let's get a rental car. And that's all. Okay, Fafa, I missed you too. And let's all go see Kashara, because like we've lived in 2 places since we've been here. We lived in an apartment when we first moved out here, and then we moved into the house. They haven't been to either.
They don't give a fuck about y'all.
Yes. They haven't been to. They haven't been to either one of these places. And I even be telling my other friend who got kids, I'm like, girl, do you know how tight we've been since we was little, and our kids don't even know each other. If your kids walk past my kids on the street, that's supposed to be the dream. Exactly. Our kids supposed to know each other. If her kids walk past my, exactly. If her kids walk past my kids in the street, my kids won't keep walking. Her kids won't keep walking. My kids won't keep walking because they don't fucking know each other. And I have told her this before. Like, the dream was supposed to be how our kids grow up together. They're supposed to be cool. They're supposed to be even tighter than we are, because they got the advantage of knowing each other from the womb. And I really think that's the base of it, for real. That we don't even be trying to acknowledge. I'm gonna beat your ass if I see you do that move again.
Niggas ain't taking a shot at 3 quarters, bro.
And I really think, like, and don't tell Leah I said this, but I really feel like I want to be closer to her, but I literally don't even know how. Like, is it weird if I'm like, bitch, I want to be cool because our husbands is cool, but like, how we do that?
I'm just about to drink, bro. I'm not even drunk as fuck. Ain't no point in paying attention to this shit.
Do you get that? Jones.
3 fucking quarters.
I said I want to get new friends. So like, obviously me and Kashaya are real cool. Our husbands are cool. And then I want to also include Leah. Like, I want to be tighter to Leah than I am. But like, is that awkward if I say that shit? Like, bitch, I want to be tighter than we are because our man's is cooler. Like, how do I say that shit? That's weird. I've never been that girl. I'm literally like, when it comes to other women, I'm like the least approachable woman. Like, unless you act like I act, unless you know, like, ready to fight at all times, like I am, it's harder to approach me. And like, Leah already clearly has the end because we already cool. Like, she was texting me earlier about like wigs and shit. And hopefully we can make a date to go to this black-owned hair beauty supply store in Hagerstown. But I feel like I want to be cooler to Leah than we are, but I don't know how to say that shit without sounding weird. Like, is that weird? I literally just don't, like, I for real don't know how to word it. Like, and like, I'm a very blunt person. I'm a very, like, in your face. I know how to say the things that I want, but I don't know how to word that as far as females. Like, how do I say, can we try to be closer because our men are closer? How do I say that?
Nigga, I don't know what you're saying, cause I'm
exactly. I don't know how to say that shit either. So it's weird because I don't know how to say it. I don't know if Leah feels like where we are is as close as she wants to be, because I'm sure like she has a best friend or best friends, and then that's like the extent of it. She doesn't have like a best friend, even with college. I wouldn't have expected that. She seems friendly as hell. Really? Alright. But see, like, I don't even like how you said that, like, I don't like to be on some bullshit. Like, me and Kashaya have had, like, deep conversations, like, bitch, I did not like the way you fucking said that shit. And, like, it's either, like, we gonna talk this shit out, or we just not even gonna fuck with each other no more, because I'm not the type that can feel some type of way about some shit that you said or you did and not tell you. So, like, I don't even, like, even with the falling out shit, I don't even like doing all that, because I feel like if it's supposed to for real be cool, then we shouldn't even have these falling outs or whatever. I should just be able to come to you and be like, hey, I ain't like that shit. It made me feel some type of way, or this, that, and the third, and then we can go back, and then that person can explain their side, and then we can go back to being cool. So, I don't know how to explain it, but I don't know. I really thought Leah had like best friends and blah blah blah. And like, how many sisters does she have? Okay, one sister, one stepsister, and one sister. So okay, so I'm gonna be honest. So like, when y'all get married in the future, because I'm hoping that happens with y'all, I wouldn't be surprised if Brian is a if Brian is a groomsman. And then but I also wouldn't be mad at Leah if I weren't a bridesmaid.
Greatest
Like
bridesmaid
I don't think those things have to be the same, you know?
The niggas ain't fucking on me as a bridesmaid.
Cause I remember Brian said this to me. He's like, "You wouldn't even be mad." I'm like, "No." I don't know how many sisters she had. Really? I wouldn't, because I don't know how many sisters she has. I don't know how. My best friend is a twin, and I'm automatically gonna be okay with her picking her twin as her maid of honor, even though, well, it would be her maiden of honor, because maid of honor has to be married. But I wouldn't be mad at that, because it's your sister. Like, y'all grew up together. It's a different relationship. But we've all made a pact that, besides my wedding, because obviously none of the asses made it to mine. So, I feel like, I don't really know how to explain it, but I feel like I didn't know at the time when he asked me how many sisters Leah had, or how many best friends she had. So, in the event of y'all wedding, Brian is a groomsman. I wouldn't have been upset if I weren't a bridesmaid. I would accept the role wholeheartedly, trust me, if I were given it, but I wouldn't have been upset if I weren't. But I think it's different with women, because I'm expecting a hierarchy. Like, she has sisters, she has best friends, and then if she has room for me, possibly. So I don't know. I think it's just different. But I do want to express to her at some point that I do want to be close. Like, I want, like, y'all are, none of my friends are even in relationships, let alone as serious as you and Leah are, let alone buying houses like you and Leah are. Like, y'all are even at the step of the buying houses that we aren't at. So, I really think that's important to have friends that are doing things that you've never done before, that are moving on to a level that y'all are not at yet. And I don't have that. I'm not, besides Kashaya, for my close friends, I'm the only married, but I'm the only one that's been in relationships since like right out of high school. It's just different. And I feel like I think that's important to have that, because I feel like if you don't have friends that are doing things that are out of your comfort zone, or that things that you've never seen before, you aren't going to start aspiring to those things. No, I don't need someone else to make me do things that I'm doing, but I just feel like if no one in my group are doing the things that I want to do, I'm gonna have to start dropping them off. You know what I'm saying? Like, not all of your friends. You keep saying that, but in the long run, Jones, I completely understand that in 10 years, I am most likely not going to be friends with them. I'm just literally, I'm holding on for dear life. We've been friends since I was 11, 12, something like that. But it's different. Like, okay, so I've got married, I've started a business, and blah blah. But like, as we get older and our kids get older and blah blah, I start to see the differences. Like, okay, well, y'all not aspiring to the same things that I'm aspiring to, and that's why we have less deep conversations. Like, our conversations be random, just be random shit. It don't be about, oh, the business is doing this, that, and the third. Oh, we doing this. You know, it's not. You know, it's not the deep conversations that I be wanting to have. So I really feel like, okay, in the next few years, honestly, it's gonna start dropping off, because I don't want the same people around me who aren't trying to do the things that I want to do in life. I don't. In 20 years, when we're sitting around talking about what our kids have accomplished based on what we accomplished and this, that, and the third, my friends tell me nothing, and all their kids at the same spot that they were sitting back when we was in our 20s and blah blah blah. What have you done? Because the whole point of me having kids is so that my kids are way better off than I was. But you can find a way to make a way. Because I had a shitty childhood, and let me tell you, my kids have no. First of all, okay, let's just start with the bare minimum. My children don't even know a life without mom and dad in the same home. They for the first couple of years, they literally didn't even understand how Dorian existed. But their father wasn't with his mother. They were completely confused. Like, how is that a thing? And we have a brother, and right. But I feel like it's not even a privilege. It's literally something you have to work towards. Like, I came from a shitty childhood. Brian came from a better one than I had, and somehow we came together and we decided, hey. His motivation was because his childhood was better than mine, and my motivation was because my childhood was shitty. And I don't want to do that. I teach my daughter, you know, she doesn't necessarily have to have kids just because she's a female. Or, you know, teaching all of them to clean up the same way, as opposed to just teaching my daughter to clean up because she's a woman. And, you know, showing them businesses and stuff. Like, it's a whole thing that you have to, like, wrap your head around and show your kids. Even with, like, healthy relationships. Before Brian and I got married, I have one cousin who was married, and that's it. There's no one else in my family who were together. Everybody got a baby father or a baby mother, and that's just it. That's how all of us existed. That's just it. So I feel like if I don't have friends who are trying to do these things that I'm trying to do, I'm trying to break generational curses. When I was talking to Leah the other day after we saw your house, and she was telling me how she didn't even rent until she was in college, I was like, that's legitimately the leg up I'm trying to get my kids. Like, do you know how amazing that sounds? Like, just theoretically, that she didn't even know what it was to rent a place until she was out on her own? That's crazy to me. I have literally never, I mean, I can't speak for him now because I don't speak to him, and I haven't spoken to him since I was 15, but my father never owned a house when I was growing up. My mother could barely even run a fucking place. So I just think that's amazing. That's like the leg up that I want to give my kids. I want them to grow up and be like, well, you know, I didn't have, you know, problems A through Z because my parents solved them. They saw what the fuck it was like, even though it was mostly me that saw what it was like and not Brian. But we saw what it could be like, and we solved them. And then that's it. Now the kids don't have to go through that shit. Now automatically the kids don't know what it's like to have parents in different households. They don't remember what it's like because they did share a room for a couple of years, but they barely remember that shit. They don't remember what it's like to share a room. They have their own. I never even had my own room. I literally shared a room my whole entire life. Then I got with Brian, and obviously we share a master bedroom and blah blah blah. So like that's a thing, and I think that eventually, I really think in the next 5 years, like my friends and I are gonna drop off, or at least I'm gonna drop them off because I don't feel like. I know. I'm really just giving like a broad statement, honestly. I just think that it's gonna be no more. Like, I think it'll have to happen gradually because we've been friends for so long, but I just feel like it will happen. Like, we're just legitimately not gonna be friends in the next 5 years at all because our lives are not going in the same direction. Like, my friends are still trying to figure out what a couple of them still work in just retail. There's no like, okay, we're gonna do this, that, and third. I don't even think there's like a plan. Like I don't think there's even a 5-year plan with them, and I think that's different. And possibly because I have kids, that's different for me. Because I know that I have to have like a 5-year plan, like where I want to be, where I want my kids to be, this, that, and the third. And that's not fair to them to like pigeonhole them if they don't feel like they're gonna be where I'm gonna be because I had kids earlier than they did. But at the same time, I can't help that my trajectory is going to be different because I did have kids, because I did get married, because all these things happened in my life that was different than theirs. Like I even sometimes feel like, I don't feel like that with you and Leah, but I do sometimes even get that feeling with Kashaya and her husband, because I think that they're from the same area that we from, and where we from, if you get a bomb 9 to 5, that's it. You don't strive for anything else. You just get that bomb 9 to 5 and then you die. But we don't have that same thought process. It's not just you get this bomb 9 to 5 and you die. Our thought process is that, you know, you get that bomb 9 to 5 and you die, and then that's it. Your kids don't get to inherit that 9 to 5 because you died. You just died. Whereas we want to start companies so that our kids can inherit. Ow, my C-section scar. Fuck. Why you do that? I can't hit nothing over these. Is that Nate Robinson? Chris Webber looking rough. Hello? Oh. Anyway, I just think it's different. I cling to them because they've been my friends for the longest. But I'm just not 100% sure that we even gonna be friends. I feel like I've been rapping, possibly because I'm drunk. Do you know how hard these statements are to live? Like, imagine if Brian just had it today. okay, I really think the root of that issue is, and like I said, I'm openly finding a black therapist to talk about all this shit about, is that besides Brian, they've been my only constant. So when my mother has been fucked up, they were there. When my father was fucked up, they were there. When I went back and forth between parents because of whatever the fuck, they were there. So it's hard to just be like, okay, well, let me move on, because outside of my husband, they are the only constant. Right, but do you know how hard it is to just have your back? But you're not the oldest, are you? So like no.
Yay! Break it down. You're done.
My mom was barely at home because she was always out working, so I had to do it myself with an abusive stepdad. So I had to do it myself. That's the only person I had. My brother wasn't around either, but she was out doing it all the time. So, you gotta learn how to do it yourself and still make it through. It's great to have those constants, but as long as you got you, then you don't have to worry about anything else.
But I also think we might have the difference in that because you're a man and I'm not.
And I honestly feel like you keep pulling for excuses.
Yeah, sometimes there's no excuses to be had.
You want a reason to feel like it's not as easy as it could be. Instead of just and that's just my opinion. That's what
I'm not taking away from it. By all means, give me your opinion. I don't know how to explain it. I just feel like it's hard. Like literally, when my mother was some shit, I had them. And then on the flip side, when my father was some shit, I had them. Like I barely fucking had parents. I had very, like, you know, parents that had us very young, 17 to 19, and while we was growing up, still just wanted to do their own shit. And I ended up having to raise myself and my little brother, so it just was hard. And so, like, my friends was the only, like, outlet where I could, like, see a person that wasn't raising my little brother and myself. So I feel like I always get to fall back on that.
2 hours later.
You became the puzzle piece they needed to make their life complete.
Yeah. And sometimes that, yeah. Yes, and sometimes I even feel like that because I mean,
I'm about to end this man's whole career.
I don't know. At the end of the day, they both, at the very least, had my friends both had their parents. I mean, like mothers. So like they weren't going through what I was going through, even on the slightest scale. But I don't know. I probably was the friend that like brought the drama to the group because my parents were some shit and I was going through with my brother and all this and the third. But it's hard to just like drop them off and not be friends with anybody. You want to sleep?
I'm about to end this man's whole career.
How can you hear?
Yeah, what?
Are you listening to something on your phone?
Yeah,
Appreciate you status like that. Where we going?
I don't think you have any idea how fast I really am.
Anyway, did you guys get a move-in date?
Hey, that's pretty good.
Is Leah off on the weekends?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking I should call, well, I'll call tomorrow, maybe, if I remember, to find out when the, beauty supply store is open in Hagerstown. It's a black woman owned beauty supply store in Hagerstown. And she was texting me earlier if I knew about, like, buying wigs or whatever, and I really don't. I wish I did, because I bet you have, like, 10. But I don't.
Hey, Dollface. I'm calling to listen. So whatever you want to talk about. I just don't feel like talking right now. I just feel like listening.
So who your new boo thing, D-Lo?
Whatever you feel like, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you feel like talking about.
So who's your new boo thing? That's what I said. Oh, okay, so we already phone boning. So what's her name? What her name is?
No, this is a different phone call.
Wow, shit. It's 2 of them?
No, fella ring.
Oh my goodness. Shit. Do you know how old she was?
Watch this. It's gonna be really fast.
18 and 19.
Oh my goodness. How do you have friends that have kids that are 18 and 19? Not by much.
Facts.
Not by much. Y'all stay saying that shit like it's 10, 15 years. No. But so what? It's not by much. D-Lo, how old are you?
33. I'm having a sentimental conversation, and I have to keep you here. Thanks a lot.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My husband is 33. Oh, right. But that's not much. That's only 5 years. Yes. Also true.
Mommy, did you do bye?
For real?
Bobby.
Boy, she was just like 12.
Mommy.
Right, apparently. That's crazy. Don't punch me in the boob, damn it. That hurts. What do you want?
Did you be fine?
Okay.
Did you fine?
Alright. Damn, that was fast. I'm not ready for like the teenage years. I'm still, excuse me, I'm still like adjusting to Dorian's like teenage years. 20? You got a nephew that's 21. Oh my damn! First of all, I thought your brother only had the one daughter. I didn't know he had a little boy. Oh shit! You have sisters? On your father's side? Hold on. It's the TV joint playing right now, so I can hear you over it. Okay, go ahead. You got sisters on your father's side? Oh my damn! I did not know.
Mom,
I
did you buy bacon?
Okay.
It's me bacon. Give me bacon, Mom. Give me bacon.
Oh hell no! She's tripping. There is no way in hell I got a 21-year-old and a 2-year-old. Once niggas is out the door pushing, doing all that shit on their own, I'm not starting over. That's absolute fucking ludicrous. I can't even imagine how she like viewed the world of a whole ass adult out there in the world as in a baby. I could never. She is way stronger than I am. 'Cause Honestly, once these niggas start walking and talking, I'm like, do I want to start that shit over?
Hey, me!
I didn't hit him. He elbowed me in the pelvis.
Oh, you mouth.
That's exactly what happened.
They keep talking about it.
Whatever.
Mom.
So she legitimately has like a 21-year-old and not like a 2-year-old.
Mom, yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
She legitimately has like a 21-year-old and then like a 2-year-old? How'd she deal with that? I guess. Yes, definitely. I saw that happen. I just always be baffled by parents who do that because I'm like, okay, so Aiden is about to be 9 in September, so that's like 2 months or whatever. I had Aiden. Remember I had Aiden? It was like 3 months before my 20th birthday, and I'd be damn. If by the time I'm old enough to be like, hey, Aiden, watch your younger sibling, I'ma have a newborn. Hell no. That seems so scary. Stop. What? Why?
He said move, not me.
Hey, go in your room.
I'll be doing a month. Take it in your room.
You can't walk the baby.
Watch Piggy in your room. Take it in his room and then tell him to come with you. Lennon and Kennedy, go. Then go in your room. That's an easy fix.
Oh my, you get
What? What is it? Was it a bug?
Yeah, no, Evan.
It's no airplane in our house, Lennon. That's not how that works.
Oh, this is fun.
Okay, bug is more feasible than an airplane.
Yeah, you go there.
Alright, that's fine. I get it. Daddy will get it, okay?
Not a bug.
Go in the room. I literally don't see anything. I don't see anything.
No, don't get it over there. You can get me. Yeah, that is.
It's an ant.
No.
I see an ant from here.
Why did you go?
What is it?
A girl.
Oh, I do see something up there. I can't tell what it is. But I
It's
can see
a
something.
girl.
I decided to go look, baby.
Mom.
Hmm?
Is
Is it Catboy? Did you throw him up there?
Yeah.
Why? Where's Catboy? He was throwing Catboy out here when he was sleeping. John, somebody get him back to my brother. I want you to see what toy is up there. Go to bed. It's late, y'all. I'm about to go to sleep. Henry, did you bring your ball out? You play out here? Well, I think I did. The Mavericks sponsor is Chime.
That's just let it. She's just
Your friend is the mother or your friend is the father?
I knew both of them. I met the mother while I was working at a restaurant, and at this time her daughter was around 13, 14. So years later, her daughter started to work at a restaurant, so I knew both of them.
How was she? Was it a drunk driver or what?
This is the updated story that she said. It was 6-car pileup. She was the first car hit. So when she got hit, she hit the car in front of her,
And
the subsequent cars behind her piled up behind the guy or girl, whoever. Yeah, it says she died on impact, could not be resuscitated. Out of here.
How would they handle her?
She's gone.
I don't. Like, I'm literally asking because, like, as a parent, I really think the worst fate is to have to bury my child. That's just not how consequentially this shit's supposed to happen.
For me to know, and I know her, the worst thing for her is this is her second child she's burying.
What?
Second child.
What happened?
The first one died very young, maybe 5 or 6.
Oh my goodness.
That was the oldest, you know?
Is there another child living?
Yes, there's a baby. She just had a baby. She just had a fucking baby.
Oh my
maybe
God.
10 months ago, 9 months ago, something very young. And, you know.
I legitimately can't even imagine. Like, it's hard. It's hard enough just to have a baby and to deal with everything that comes behind that, all of the feelings and emotions that comes behind that. In addition to having lost the previous 2, I literally...
She has to be terrified.
Yes.
She has to be terrified for her youngest.
Yes.
Gotta be.
Like, I can't imagine the pressure that she's living under right now. At all.
Man, who you telling? Locked down. He gonna live in the bubble. He gonna be the bubble boy.
And in addition to that, I don't even think sometimes people realize that when you live, the more of a bubble you live in as a child, the more reckless you are as an adult.
Easy, definitely.
Like, I know mad preacher's daughter just did the fucking most.
Oh yeah, I've knocked off
the fucking most. The second that nigga wasn't watching, bitches was doing the most. I'm telling you.
And they into weird shit. Like, they want you spit in their mouth and smack them around. Like, bitch, what are you into?
Crazy.
Why don't you love your daddy?
Because so many things are restricted growing up.
Oh my God.
That they're just like...
Father is the man of the cloth.
No
She
holds
trying to
barred.
get nasty in here.
Like...
I don't like it. I don't like it. It's a cross over top of the bed. Bitch, I don't want to be here. We gotta go to the living room.
Oh my God. I used to feel like that growing up. Like, when my great grandmother died and my aunt used to have this like picture of her hanging up in the living room, I could like not kiss a boy in there. Like, that's even though I lived there, I just feel like I could not kiss a boy in there because I felt like she was watching. It was weird.
So she what?
Now that I'm an adult, I don't actually believe that, but I think I deeply believed that then that she was fucking watching. Bless you. Cover your fucking mouth. Can we do that? But yeah, honestly, like, all jokes aside, I can't imagine what she's going through. Like, if there wasn't even the slightest hint of like postpartum, because that's already a thing. After having, I
want to understand the brain of a postpartum woman. Like, you are like deep depression, deep.
I literally can't even give you the answer, and I've had 3. I don't understand the brain of like complete postpartum, but I can say that when you have a baby, it's just like the literal chemistry of your brain changes. Like, you're not just worried about you no more. Now you're worried about this baby. You're worried about if you're doing enough to keep the baby alive, whether that's just breastfeeding, whether that's talking to the baby, whether that's holding the baby. every little thing could set shit off, and it just completely changes shit. And so I can't even, and that's not even me speaking
Is that a
on.
male version of postpartum?
I believe there is, and I really think that should be a topic discussed as well. I don't know what that's
Because I
supposed to be
definitely looked at
called.
old pictures of my nephew and broke out crying like the nigga had AIDS. Like it was wild. I'm looking at old circus pictures, and I broke out like a baby. I don't know where that shit came from.
I think that also should be discussed because there's things that changes within a man's chemistry about a baby and stuff when that happens, because now, you know, at first, like, let's just imagine at first it was just you and your girl you had to protect. Now you gotta protect this tiny little fucking thing. Like Ryan, when I first have the babies, he is like, they're so tiny, I don't want to pick them up, I don't want to drop them.
So fucking tiny.
They are very fucking tiny. And he's like, you know, I don't want to drop them, I don't want to do this and that, but he's also very, like, you know, the skin on skin, he does that in the hospital and all, you know, all of those good things, and it's like that immediate fucking bond. But I'm imagining that, and I'm imagining, because I'm obviously not a man, that there are things that changes within the man's chemistry, like brain chemistry, when he becomes a father.
There's a fable amongst young boys about fathers and grown men, like when you have a baby or when you become fully matured a man, is that you now have grown man strength. I don't know if ladies have ever heard this, but like grown man strength is a real fable in the black community.
Elaborate. Whose juice is this in the middle of the floor?
Shit.
It is Catboy. I fucking told you it was Catboy, Lennon. I told you to stop throwing this shit up there. I'm not tall enough for you to just be throwing Catboy all willy-nilly. Yes, it's Catboy.
I don't know what B went. B, where you went?
No, I'm sorry. He's getting Lennon's stuffed toy off this high-ass ceiling. Dad's getting it, but I told you to stop throwing it. I'm not tall enough. Imagine if Daddy was at work. I couldn't get that at all. Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that
But I imagine that's not only hard on her having recently given birth to a baby, because things change in your brain. Like you know you're worried about this baby. You're worried about how life changes because you've added a child to the world. How life changes because how your body changes because you've had another baby. Whether that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, whatever number that is. That changes things. Like I had a really hard time with my body after I had Lennon. Like to get used to. And
Is that when you became on your journey to get swole?
yes, honestly. Because it took a lot. Like when I had Aiden, I was really small, and then I was able to get back to that point. And then when I had Kennedy, I got really big. But then I was able to get back to where I was.
Is that an ideal shape for women? Do women dream of being like their teen size? Like for men, we don't want to go back to that size. Men try to, like, you know.
Not necessarily. So there are days when I find myself being very, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all because I fuck with y'all, very insecure. Where I feel like, yes, where I find myself looking like, I'll be watching like a TikTok with Kennedy and these are fucking teenagers and I'm like, I wish I looked like that again. And that's fucking crazy.
Is that a desire thing? Because I worry about women's health and about the transmorphification, I think that's the word, of like the ideal, like filters and shit like that, and what that does to our fucking brains.
No, because okay, so point blank, I think my face is always like my favorite thing about me. So I don't think I want to change my face. So like, if I see like, right, I know that sounds crazy, but like if I'm looking at a filter or something and it enhances how I look, I'm like, oh okay, that bitch, yes, you know, whatever. But then I'm also like, no, like I can't teach positivity, body positivity, or even like facial positivity to my daughter. I don't believe in it, right? So you know, I'm teaching her like you're beautiful, you're a black queen, you're beautiful the way you are, your big lips, your dimples, your big ass eyes, those are beautiful, right? And if I don't believe in those things deeply within myself, then I can't teach her that. So my face is usually not something that I have an issue with, although I do understand that it is bigger the bigger that I am. So then I do have days where I'm like, and I'm working on it. I've come to the realization where I'm like, I can love my body where I'm at, and also understand that I'm trying to get to a different place. So like, I love where I'm at. I've gained weight. I've had these 3 beautiful babies, aside from the baby that I didn't get to have. And you know, it's a progress thing, you know, it's a progressive thing where I'm like, you know, I've gained the weight, I've lost the weight, I've gained the weight, I've lost the weight, and then now with London, it's a little bit harder to lose said weight, because now, you know, we're technically 4 babies in, and it's just a little bit harder, and I've gotten a little bit lazier about the techniques on losing said weight. So you have to get to that point where you're like, you know, bitch, you a bad bitch the way you look. Niggas be looking when you leave out the house, but look, what do you feel like when you gotta take them clothes off and get in the shower? When you're standing in front of the mirror before you get in that shower. That's like a thing to confront in itself.
That's the thing. I never would have thought to, you know, just face yourself before you get in the shower so you can just see you for you.
But it is, and I've learned that since I've had kids.
That's
because like
wild.
it really is, because like you said,
because when I was younger, it was told like the reason why you brush your teeth not only do you brush your teeth for your dental health, but you brush your teeth to practice smiling.
yes.
So it's like you supposed to practice
No, you
smiling
don't.
every morning, you know, before you go to wake up, and you know that's why you brush your teeth. That shit is true. I think MJ has left the door.
Yes,
That's
he's right. Jones left the party, babe, but D-Lo's still on.
He don't care.
No, he's not about to leave. He letting
Actually, he's
London.
balling, you know.
Babe, you still playing? He said, yeah, he's just taking London to the party.
No, that's cool. I'm gonna
He said he in my career.
yeah, tell him I'm about to do some drills, so it don't matter. Whatever we're trying to do.
Okay.
But it's like, man, but that smiling shit, I didn't realize the importance of that until, you know, you get older and you're in your teens, and it's like, you know, you don't brush your teeth, and you like, damn, I just don't feel like smiling today. No, nigga, it's crackheads out here with no teeth, baby. Smile that shit, you know. And me being younger, I was really insecure about my gap. But then I didn't understand that it's women out there who are into gaps.
Love it. That's not weird. That's just...
What I'm telling you is, women that like niggas with gaps are freaks.
My husband has a gap, and so do my kids.
I don't want to discuss your life like that. That's not what I'm into. I'm telling you off my life. Hey man, hey, you know.
It's only 11 o'clock. What the fuck Jones get off for?
Yeah, it's because he's tired. He don't like losing like that.
Oh, okay. That's understandable. Huh? So yeah, you know, that's the thing. That you have to, okay. He said he in some drills, babe. So, you know, that's a thing that you have to be used to. You know, your body changes, and sometimes I look back and I'm like, oh, you know, I would have loved to be like, I was always skinny until I had kids. Like TMI, I didn't even have boobs until I had kids.
See, I grew up in a family of, you know, big chest women. So, you know, my sister got hers at like 11. So I was seeing her like, and I seen the way people changed around her, and I was like, damn, G, I'm sorry for that. You know what I'm saying? Cause you grown now, you out here in these streets. You know, at this point in your life, you belong to the streets. So it's like, I feel like when I was younger, see, I was different. When I was younger, I was chubby, I was fat, I was, you know, I didn't hit no real growth spurt until like 9th, 10th grade. You know what I'm saying? And when that happened, it was a fucking problem. Nigga, the confidence went through the roof. I was knocking bitches left and right.
Oh my god.
It was real. Ask B. We done had these conversations. Look, man, I didn't lose my virginity till like 10th, 11th grade. It's like, well, once I did, it was over. It was OV.
And see, I think that like it differs. Like I didn't lose mine until him at 18, and I think that differs. So like when you have, for women, a lot of us when we have babies, like I follow some women who are ridiculously athletic. Like they work out day in and day out, and I'm trying to get to that point. Like that's the whole reason we got a treadmill and everything, because I want to get to that point. And I'm usually very active. I just feel like I let it get the best of me, if that makes sense. And so I'm trying to get back to like feeling good about the way that I look. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, when I leave the house, I don't leave the house if I don't feel like I look cute.
Oh my God, my homeboy, he just told me about his wife and how she do the same thing. They had an argument. So look, listen to this bullshit.
Okay.
So he had an argument. What the argument was about, kind of personal, but it just, he just was unhappy about how, his marriage is going. So he has a big argument. They blow up, he yelling at her, she yelling at him, she crying, he crying, she's like, I'm leaving. So she goes and puts on clothes, and right before she leaves, she like looks in the mirror, like checks out her ass. And then she leaves out of the house, and he snaps. He said, "This is the self-centered shit that I'm talking about. You can't even storm out the house without checking yourself out in the mirror." And so I don't know what that is to be a woman, man. I don't know what it is to be a woman in that regard, man. Because women value beauty.
Yes, we do, and then not only that, but we realize that men do too. Like, so if Brian and I broke up today. Despite the fact that he's got 4...
Oh yeah, we already had a discussion. If y'all broke up today, I would never talk to you again.
But that's fine. But despite the fact that he has 4 fucking kids and 2 different baby mothers, he would
I see you out here, Big B.
He would still be attractive to women. Whereas men would see me as saddled with 3 kids and a possible.
Oh no, it's a wrap for you, G. You's an old maid right now.
Right. It's a wrap for me. Men would see me as saddled with automatically 3 kids, and then the possibility that I'm still close with my stepson, so that our kids could have the relationship that they deserve to have. And so this nigga is like possibly saddled with 4 kids. Do he really want to fuck with me, or do he not? And then on top of that is, am I comfortable to let him, like Brian and I'm comfortable enough to let him see what I look like with no clothes on, because this is the man that my body has changed for. This is the man that I've given these 3 children for, that has changed my body. So it's different when there's a new nigga that come around, like, do he want to see that shit? Nothing has... You breaking up. Badly.
But like honestly, women different, man. It's just different.
It is different. So I can see how if you're contemplating the whole split, that I'm gonna be seen differently than Brian's gonna be seen. I'm gonna be seen as, okay, so I'm losing the weight. Okay, I always like to make that clear, and I think that's weird, even that I have to make that fucking clear. But that's happening. But then we're going to assume that I'm saddled with the kids, right? So any nigga that I'm with gonna be seeing the kids more often than any bitch that Brian with, right? That's what we're gonna assume. That he's getting the kids maybe every weekend or every other weekend, whatever the case may be. But she's not having to deal with the kids day in and day out. Whereas if I'm dealing with a man and it becomes serious, he's having to deal with the kids day in and day out, because 9 times out of 10, they're going to live with me unless Brian can prove that I'm an unfit parent. So that changes things in itself. And then Brian's body hasn't changed since we've had kids. So
I believe his body has changed.
I think it has. Okay, so
that was
right.
I mean, you know what I meant. That's interesting.
Yeah, so that's okay. So that's true, yes, but it's not to the extent that mine has changed. Like, you're breaking up.
No, I'm upstairs cooking. No,
oh. What you making? Hello? I can't hear shit. So I think it's, you know, it's different, how our bodies have changed since having kids.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's not even to put the blame on him. It just literally has. Like, that's just how shit
Yeah,
happens.
that's how life goes. Yeah.
Right. But I think it does happen different. However differently it happens. So I think that's a thing that women, you know, are automatically concerned about. And then, like I said, we're concerned about who's saddled with the kids, right? So we break up. Automatically, I'm gonna have the kids, right? Because my lifestyle was staying home with the kids, and his lifestyle was going to work with the
Oh,
kids.
you'd be devastated if you took the kids.
I would, yes,
You would be
100%.
devastated.
I don't know what it's like to not have them 24/7.
Facts.
Right? So it would be completely different to me, and beyond that, it would be hurtful. Whereas he could understand, like, okay, so I'm just gonna get them on the weekends, or I'm gonna get them every other weekend, or I'm just gonna get them at night when I get off work. I would work
But I
around
think for him it would be
it.
devastating too because slow down, D-Lo. Because truth be told, he's seen his kids every day.
Yes,
what I'm
and he
saying?
doesn't know what it's like beyond that.
Exactly. So I think it would be mutually detrimental to both sides, just in different ways.
Yes, no doubt. I don't take that away from him at all. That they, and even on the kids end, like they don't know what it's
Oh my
like
God.
to not
Come on,
see.
man. That's therapy for
Yeah,
years. That's
yeah,
therapy.
100%. They don't know what it's like to not
It
see
all
dad
started
every
when
single
mommy and
day.
daddy broke up, and then we had to go to mommy house.
Right. That's the thing. They don't understand that. Like they don't know what it's like.
Tell B, I think my homeboy sold me some bad weed.
He said. D-Lo said he think his home.
Huh?
D-Lo said he think his homeboy sold him some bad weed.
You got served with dirt before? What's wrong?
No. Tell him that dirt. Tell him laced.
He said not dirt, laced.
Yeah, I got hit with that too.
Oh,
Yeah.
and when?
Man, that's a bit personal, you know.
There's nothing personal between my husband and myself.
I only said that to joke, you know.
He said, are you good though?
Take a nap, my nigga.
No. I know. I ain't hit it. Let me tell you why. And tell him. Oh, can you hear me too?
No, you want to talk to him for a second?
No. You can just. It doesn't matter. But I'm gonna tell the story, and I don't know if you're gonna relay it. You know.
Go ahead.
Okay, bet. So boom. So my homeboy said, man, I got some smoke. I'm like, all right, bet. So I goes and check the shit out, and I look at it. That bitch like a Christmas tree. I'm talking about that bitch is lost.
Mhm.
So I'm like, all right, bet.
His homeboy told him he got some smoke, so he go look at it and he said that joint is glossy. All right, bet.
And so he this story person is hilarious. So goddamn, so he gave it to me, and you know, I took it home. But prior to that, I called around because I didn't want. I wasn't trying to get back on. It's a lot. That's why I give him the mic. Give him the goddamn
Just
mic.
give you the mic, my man. It's too much.
I know you into your shit.
Yep.
I know you into your shit. Just a quick story. So let me tell you what happened. So earlier today, I was trying to get some smoke. Not to get on though. I was just trying to get some smoke. You know, just my own little set.
Right.
So I called a few niggas, and both niggas told me, man, that's a lot of bullshit floating around. And I'm like, bro, what you mean? He like, look, man, it's some motherfucking shit like baking soda on the smoke. And I'm like, what the fuck are you trying to say? He said, bro, niggas is putting baking soda in on top of the smoke, like, you know, in a big, like nigga got a pound, nigga got a QP or whatever. He'll put the baking
To
soda
weigh it
in
down?
the QP. Exactly, and to make it glossy and make it look like a Christmas tree.
Oh,
So
shit.
boom, I goes to my homeboy house. I'm like, hey, what's up? He like, yeah, nothing, you know, about the smoke. I'm like, all right, bet, I'm ready to come through. I come through. He like, bro, I got some smoke or two. I'm like, all right, bet, so let me see it. I look at it. I'm talking about that bitch is glistening. And I said, all right, yeah, let me get something small. Let me get like a poop. Bet. I get it. Take it home. And when I take it home, I open the bag and I'm like, bro, this shit look like it got goddamn crystal meth on it, but it be like it's a smoker. Bro, tell me why. I started looking on the internet and I'm like, well, you know what? How do I know this ain't the shit that homeboy just warned me about, right?
Right.
So they said the great test is just to know if anything is like artificial on it. You get you a disc, like a DVD or a CD, and you rub the smoke, or where you rub like a bud on the DVD. You know what I'm saying? So just to see if
On the back side?
Yeah, on the clear side, you know, so you can see if it scratched the CD up.
Right.
Natural THC is like it bonds, like, cause like it melts. Think about it like this: if you heat that bitch up, it should just melt like, you know, like a crystal.
Right.
Well, I should say like a crystal, it melt like a waxy material. If you scratch that bitch on the CD and it scratched the CD up, bro, that bitch ain't no good. Because anything that's on it has to be a harder material than the CD cover.
Right.
Or the CD itself. So if it scratch it up, yeah, it's rough. So I'm like, I did it, and I'm talking about that bitch scratched it up like a knife.
So then, did you smoke this shit though?
Fuck no. Come on, man.
I was about to say.
Like, no, cause once I seen it, cause once I touched it, my fingers had all the shit on it, so I put my tongue to it. Right, my tongue started big. It started, man, it's like bubbling. It bubble like baking soda. I said, damn.
These are bullshitting. Damn,
Yeah, man. So I called my homeboy, and mind you, cause I knew how he was gonna play it. He gonna try to, you know, get aggressive. Oh no, that shit gravy, bro. Now listen, what I'm telling you, I'm not telling you out of anger. I'm telling you out of love. Get your money, get your shit off, but I need you not to smoke. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Cause unbeknownst to me, that's the shit. Like when I met up with him earlier, he was already smoking and shit. So I'm telling him, like, look, bro, you paid for it. I'd rather me tell you than a nigga who got a problem with you telling you.
Wait, this is private stash that he just selling?
No, I'm talking about nah. The nigga had like a whole piece of that shit. Like,
oh shit. God
so
damn,
it's like,
and they waited down?
Man, listen. It was buttered up. You know what I'm saying? It won't like it was no shake. Bro, I'm talking about it's all buzz.
Jeez.
And I'm looking at that shit because it looked too pretty. It looked too pretty with a light smell.
Yeah.
And one thing I keep telling my homeboy about, he don't like doing that storage shit. I tell him, look, man, if you got all of this, if you got this and this and that, bro, you gotta invest in some shit to put it in, some sealed jars or something, nigga. You just be having the same bag, you got it in, roll it back up, put it in the closet. Come on, man.
Damn, this nigga said we like he in the 90s.
Egg fucking exactly, bro. Come on, man. You gotta come to new age. I mean,
nigga, you can get a fucking mason jar from the dollar store.
God, it's easy. But it's okay. He into his own little way. But I told him I can't rock with you on that flip. And this right here. So when I called him, he got, you know, he was concerned, but I honestly feel he didn't know.
Right.
Cause he wouldn't have smoked the shit if he would. But I'm sitting here like, bro, don't do that. Don't do that shit.
Nah,
that shit cold-blooded, man.
I definitely feel like I smoked some tainted shit. That shit was wild.
For real.
Yeah, it was a wild crystally. So I really hit a vanilla Dutch, and I'm, you know how fat a vanilla Dutch is.
Shout out to vanilla. Oh, original Dutch too.
Yeah, that motherfucker's fat. And then you break it down, and then you roll it. So when he was like, yeah, I'm gonna roll this. I'll be right back. He rolled this right quick. I was like, alright, nigga went in the room. You know, just playing Madden, he ain't thinking. He came back, and he was like, yeah, put this in rotation. And the Dutch was the same size.
But you told me this. They got damn blood the same size. Hell no.
Exactly. So I understand, man.
No, that shit don't ride. Because at first I got angry. It's like, damn, you gonna sell me some shit? That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And you supposed to be my homeboy. But you know, I talked to him. I'm like, oh yeah, you don't know. You don't even know. It's alright.
It was a genuine nigga, you know, or was it like?
This is what I say about him. I learned how to lie from him. So He could be lying. Could be, but it's like I ain't gonna do that with him because I know when he lying and he feel guilty. He may have just been lying like somebody might have told him, or he damn sure ain't was like I'm gonna get over on. I ain't get that feeling.
Okay.
I done got that feeling before, but it ain't that feeling. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. This nigga just a hustler to be hustling. You know what I'm saying? If you got a dope habit nigga and his friends smoke dope, guess who giving him the dope? He will.
Damn.
I ain't on that type time. I don't like, bro. One of my homeboys, you know what I'm saying? I guess his thing is I'd rather him get it from me than somebody else in the street. Nah, I hear what you're saying, but I'm not giving him shit at all.
Right.
That ain't, I ain't into that. Serving my uncles and shit like that. No, I ain't about that life. I ain't doing it. You know what I'm saying? Why you dip out, bro? Why you won't fucking with a wreck no more?
Man, look, man, I ain't shoot the ball 3/4, man. I can't play with that. I was too distracted, bro.
Yeah, I give it that. I was hella distracted. I admit to my shit. I was fucked up.
I was like, nigga, help me. Niggas ain't shooting that joint.
Yeah, I just got to get more comfortable shooting with SGA, man. He just the build crazy. I'm talking about. I got 30 fucking playmaking badges, 16 shooting badges, 15 finishing badges. I see the potential. I just, man, I gotta get over. I gotta get over that tendency of not shooting wide open shots. So that's why I'm taking it to my career, you know. And plus, I don't want to be on my career and nigga be like, why you ain't balling? Get in here, nah, man. I mean, I ain't ready yet with the nigga. And then I don't want to, you know, ball with Bill Russell or goddamn somebody else, and then I could be doing that, building the other nigga up. You know what I'm saying?
Man, 2K, the only thing that translates is dunking. If you can dunk, you can play rec because you can just go get dunks. But like, if you gotta shoot that motherfucker, that shit gonna be tough because you can't really shoot how you need to shoot.
In a specific time, man, that shit. Yeah, if you don't got catch and shoot, you cannot catch and shoot at all. Right. Like, bitch, you gonna need a dribble. That shit is wild to me.
Right, and then the dead different. The dead change your jump shot. Everything change up your shit.
That shit cold, man. I still gotta record a podcast tonight too. So.
Oh shit, I got the